In this tutorial, I will talk a little bit about the Copic marker and give some advice on how to use it. So Copic markers are an alcohol-based permanent marker currently available in over 300 colors with various shapes and sizes. They are all initially expensive to purchase, but are refillable and can be mixed. The four main sizes of Copic markers are the smaller Chow marker, the slightly larger Copic sketch marker, the basic Copic marker, and the wide Copic marker. Chow markers are slightly less expensive but hold less ink. They have two nibs, a brush and a chisel. Copic sketch markers hold slightly different ink and have the same two nibs as the Chow markers. The basic Copic markers do not have a brush tip, but instead a stiffer tip similar to a Sharpie. Finally, the Copic wide has one extra broad nib. Copic Various Ink sells most of the color inks available as refills. Boosters, or basically a hollow needle, are used to refill the markers. Simply unscrew the cap of the Various ink and screw on the needle. Then carefully press the needle into the chisel nib side of the marker and squeeze. An empty marker needs approximately 5 milliliters of ink to be full. Copic also sells an opaque white paint that does not bleed or blur on top of a Copic ink. Lastly, there is also an airbrush system that can be attached directly to the marker. There are constantly new products being made, so these are only a few of the many varieties of products they have. Nibs can get ruined if used to put ink over pencil lines, and ink can smudge pencil. For this reason, Copic has multiple types of multi-liners available. The basic markers are available in multiple colors and sizes. There are also fountain pens of multiple sizes, and there is also a special type of multi-liner which is refillable with replaceable nibs. Sadly, I do not own one of these to show you. If you do not have the Copic multi-liners, there are other options. Any pigment-based waterproof pen is likely of working. Some pens are prone to bleeding and staining the Copic marker nibs. Be sure that the outlines are completely dry before using the Copic markers, or it will smudge. Now it's time to learn a bit about how Copic markers can be used and behave. The ideal paper is marker paper, however, anything works. In general, watercolor paper will absorb more ink and your markers will run out faster, while printer paper will saturate quickly and bleed through the other side of the page. I find that marker paper leaves the lightest color on the page, while watercolor paper can leave a darker color. Printer paper is hard to control and can be unruly. In general, the darker the pigment, the less the marker will bleed. However, be careful because some light colors spread out farther than where the brush hits the paper. The more ink used, the darker the ink will dry. However, it is not wise to keep adding ink to a wet surface as it will push the other ink out and can go outside of lines. If you let one color dry and go back over with the same color, multiple shades can be made if you are patient. This is a great system for people on a budget unable to buy an assortment of colors. Colors can be mixed as well, and gradients are easily made. To make a gradient, take two colors, preferably a light and a dark color. I place a quick and wet layer of the darker color first, and then quickly in a back and forth motion go over the color with the new one. The lighter color may have a bit of the other color ink on its nib. Simply wipe it away a few times on a piece of paper to clean it. Some people may disagree with my process and instead put the light color first. I find that putting the darker color first works best for me on marker paper. Copic markers are made to be overlapped and mixed to create new colors. I suggest letting the bottom color dry before adding the top so the ink does not look spotty. In this instance, I did not wait for it to dry, and the colors sort of sunk together. When using the markers, be sure to color in the same direction to avoid making a blotchy texture. Go slowly to get a smooth look. Going too fast can unevenly distribute the ink.